Welcome to SMMT North, and this is Wetherby. We get our first look at this, the Volkswagen ID 5. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. The ID 5, so it's built on the MEB platform. This is definitely one of the bigger ones. We've driven quite a few of them, which means, well, it's scalable considering you can get the Q4 and the i3 on the same thing. Fully electric car, or is it an SUV? To be perfectly frank, I can't quite tell. It's definitely got SUV style, but it's also got the size. I suppose it looks a bit like an oversized car, but the proportions make it look a good looking vehicle. And then when you put 19s on it, remarkably, they look small, but it does offer an exceptionally good ride. Look at the profile on those tyres. Cladding, on first appearances, you'd say it's two-tone. But no, that's actually the size of the panoramic. But you do have the addition of this colour that runs along the roof line. What a sloping roof. It'll be interesting to see if that affects any of the headroom. I suspect not, the way that manufacturers are working now. You look at something and you think, nah, there's no way. But it's extremely deceptive. We're all kind of learning this. Styling at the front. Well, it looks typically Volkswagen. It's not particularly aggressive, but it is, well, it's modern, it's minimalist. Really looks impressive, especially with its proportions. The colour scheme really works. It suits its style, especially with the brand new Volkswagen badge. I never thought I'd see it black and white. It reminds me of Bavarian that way. Because that's it, Volkswagen badges have always had chrome. Fully automatic LED lights with daytime running lights surrounding. And these are IQ, so the likelihood is you can probably get options like Matrix, etc, etc. The bottom line is Volkswagen are moving forward at one heck of a pace. I mean, their MEB with their electric powertrains are pretty unbeatable. And that's the thing. Anything from VWG seems to be doing an outstanding job. Just check out our Q4 road trip, all the way to Goodwood on one charge. And that's over 315 miles, which is the range of the vehicle. And that included well over 200 miles of motorway driving. You don't really need to drive this because you know how damn good it's going to be before you even set foot in it. Full of safety, full of tech. But because this is our first look and we hope to get one on full review, that's all you get for the time being. There's various trim levels. Let's take a look inside. I love these flush door handles. They actually remind me of the Audi door handles back in the day. Power folding door mirrors, blind spot detection and white mirror caps. And one of my favourites, quarter lights. I love them. Decent wide opening door, and I do love the fact that you've got these, I suppose you'd call them retro colours, tans and browns and creams. It's rather refined. Sound of the chopper's been drowned out. Fully electric seat, memory function, and everything just has an air of quality to it. And yes, you may recognise some of the things that we saw in the Q4, but that made perfect sense, wouldn't it? Great build quality, lots of glosses and piano black. It highlights fingerprints, but what are you going to do? That's pretty much where vehicles are going. The one thing that does get me about Volkswagen and Audi, etc., is lack of rotaries. But the thing is, they do have shortcut buttons, and it's relatively easy to do most things from, say, here. So there's your heated seats. See, this just makes it really straightforward. And also you can speak to it and say things like, hello ID, cool my feet. It doesn't take long to get used to it, does it, Annabelle?
No. User friendly.
And responsive.
Yeah.
So we do have a 360 camera on this. Park assist has stopped, so we've got park assist too. See what the door sounds like. Ooh, proper solid. German for you. Yeah, you will find hard plastics. The thing is, it's complemented with a lot of soft touches and interesting materials and colours. That's the thing, you can never call these boring. You've even got ID etched in the back of the seat. And I assume this is some kind of vegan trim. So you've got like a, I suppose it's a cloth style trim with some leather or faux leather. Look at that, an armrest. And I mean like an armrest like a car or a van. It's touches like that that make me think, yeah, I'd actually choose this. They're just well laid out. Loads of storage, charging points, I suppose it's like the perfect lifestyle vehicle. You've got your armchair, you've got your electric car, and no doubt in time it'll be able to drive itself. Same with the cluster, it gives you all the information you need. You've also got a heads-up display, and dependent on which one you go for, you can get augmented navigation. Now if you've seen that in the Q4, that's amazing. It puts like chevrons in your eye line. And
it was a real boom, wasn't it, when we were travelling for such a distance?
It's amazing. It just says like turn there, but you can see it on the road in front of you. Cruise control, you can do lots of magical things. It's nice and easy to read the cluster. It's not the biggest, but most of your information is going to come through the infotainment anyway. Speaking of that, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation, web, and then you operate things like your fans and your heated seats. So by that logic, it makes sense. It just would have been nice to have at least one rotary, but the bottom line is it's not really a deal breaker. Now I had some serious space at 6'3" in the front of there, so it'll be interesting to see. Hello dogs. Wet nose.
Off you
What
go.
do you two,
Go on
mate?
then.
Hey, get over. Let's take a look in the back. Let's look at this first. So this is where you charge it. So as you'd expect, the same place as the Q4. So type 2, home charge and rapid charge. Now the styling keeps getting me, but I better get in the back. The door handles are interesting. There's not actually a click to them. They're like, you just ever so slightly. The door opens nice and wide, and yeah, that has restricted my legroom. Not surprising, it does feel like I'm in a lounge in the front. I'll put this forward a little bit. Now I'll actually get back in to show you. See, I've still got masses of room like that. Remarkable. Far better. Climbing in, simplicity. Even with it reclined like this, I've still got ample legroom. Feet under the seats, and look, no transmission tunnel. But it's a fully electric platform, so that makes perfect sense. This sunroof is absolutely ginormous. And it's got a blind too. And in case you're wondering, I do have a grab handle. Okay, didn't really expect to see a hard plastic there. Apart from that, it's nicely trimmed. And the addition of this colour, I do like tans and browns. Glossy black and an electric window. Not a bad door pocket either. Because we've got a panoramic, it does eat into the roof ever so slightly. I can sit here, but I've probably got about ½ an inch. But it's kind of doable, especially if I scooch lower in my seat. Very comfortable supportive seats, pull down armrest, and a mix of materials. The colour schemes, well, they really know how to make one. In the centre, it's interesting to see it that low. It looks to me like we've got tri-zone, wow. And some USB-Cs. But no, it's comfortable. It feels so airy and open. It's the kind of thing that I'd love to go to, say, Blackpool Illuminations, because you'd see everything. No, I like this. See what the boot's like. Oh my word, a shower lock. Ah! Strong winds, but we shall prevail. I think my favourite feature of the ID5 is these rear lenses, especially when you break down the LED sculpture. It gives a really interesting look. Also makes it far safer because it's brighter. As for a light bar, well, what's not to love? We've got a reversing camera, parking sensors, and interestingly, wow, that is the boot spoiler. Proper spoiler as well, of cars of old. Let's take a look at the boot. And there's the camera. Well, that looks simplicity to load. You can get your shopping in there, luggage, no problem. It may not be the deepest boot, but it'll still hold a fair bit because it goes a fair bit back. You can see your charging cables and extra storage. And tethering points which are mounted to the vehicle rather than the floor. Shopping bag hooks and 2 boot lights. Not to forget a 12-volt socket. And I think the biggest thing that appeals is the fact that at 6'3", I can stand under it. Nice and easy to unhook this. No overcomplication, just bits of string. Now, it sounds like I'm saying that in a bad way, but no, it's just simplicity. Why overcomplicate? I've never got it. 60/40 folding seats, you've even got a ski hatch. To drop those, well, pull these little tabs forward. It doesn't lay entirely flat, but it's pretty close. Also, because it has a raised floor, that eliminates the boot lip, and it also makes this virtually flat. Get rid of the parcel shelf and you get some pretty big items in here. Now, I said before it wasn't two-tone. That's not strictly true. This bit's black and this surround is. Let's have a look under the bonnet. Okay, oh, there we go. Let's pull that across. So, fully electric powertrain. Okay, nice and easy to see where to top up fluids. We've even got a strut brace, like that. Well, it's been a while since we've been out in a Volkswagen, hasn't it, Annabelle?
Indeed.
So this is the ID5. Fully electric. I suppose you'd call it an SUV. It drives well. We thought it'd be interesting to get into another MEB platform vehicle, as we had the Q4 and did so many miles.
In this passenger seat, really comfortable.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think it does 0 to 60 in around 8 seconds, something like that. But because it's an electric vehicle, it does feel far quicker, especially when you plant your foot.
See, I didn't even have time to get the camera to pan round there.
It's nice and stable.
It does feel well planted, doesn't it?
Yeah, not surprising with an electric powertrain, all that weight. But that's it. It doesn't affect acceleration either, does it?
No.
It just makes them feel, well, essentially glued to the road.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, nippy. Lots of safety, accelerates well, great steering. It's not too big either. I mean, yeah, compare it to something like an ID3, and it's a fair chunk bigger. But it's the perfect family car, and also, I've noticed, yeah, it's got the coasting system and the regen system that we experienced in the Q4. Makes perfect sense. So if there's no vehicles in front, it'll just coast and coast and coast. But if you've got a vehicle in front, it'll use environmental awareness and yada yada.
All that sorcery. Yes.
Exactly. And then it'll regen. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, this is how you put it into gear. You've also got a B there, which means brake, and that'll increase your regen. But no, body roll, quite minimal, considering the size of the vehicle. I mean, there's an element of it. You couldn't have a vehicle of this size without it, and it also adds to comfort.
You're right, they're a perfect family vehicle. Like, you can understand people stuffing lots of bags and things and just jumping in and going on long hauls, can't you?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Going off on your adventures.
Yeah.
Going to see the fireworks, because obviously you've got this big panoramic to do it in. It's exceedingly smooth to drive. It's very user friendly.